So this is your basic view when you're going to log into your TrainingPeaks account over here. You're going to have a couple things up there. If you don't have any events scheduled, this will probably be blank over here. I do, right? This is we'll get into this a little bit in more depth later on in the video. This blue line is going to be your fitness trajectory throughout the year and a little plan of how you're going to get there. Underneath that, goals. If you wanted to add a goal, you could click this box over here and you could say bike 4 times this week. Mark that out, and if you do hit your goal, you can click that and that will be completed. If you wanted to kind of take this away, you just click over here, delete, and now it is gone. This middle row over here, there's a couple things happening over here. This is going to look a little different for you. I have 2 workouts that I have done today over here. So I have one over here and one here that is colored. The colored one is going to be what you're going to see over here. It's going to look, I don't know why I'm explaining it. It's going to look like this for you. It's going to be blank. And when you do finish it, it will change colors depending on how accurate or to spec you did the workout. So if you wanted to dig into the workout a little bit more, you can click it. You can see some of your pace targets. You really don't even have to if you dig into the some of these examples, not examples, some of these targets over here. You can see you're going to warm up. This is a running workout by Power, and they have a 10-minute section at about 215, 220 warm up, and then they're going to sit at about the same area. It's just an easy run, right? They're going to have a couple of bursts mixed in there. It's 3 by 30 seconds and then 9:30, so essentially a 10-minute block in there. You repeat it 3 times, and then that's it. That's the easy workout. And if you scroll up, you can see the effect of the completed workout over here. You can see I did not do it. So if you look at the summary, I had an hour 15-minute workout plan. This is about a 45-minute ride that was completed. So the whole workout is not shown over there. I do have wattage over here. That is my target. I was supposed to be at about 220. You can see I was there a couple of times, but not for the desired amount. You can also see the heart rate, which will go up, down if you have it there, and then the cadence as well. You can track that as well. It's important to note that you should have these things set up before you do your workout. So if you don't have a watch or a computer that is tracking and capturing this data, it's not going to show up. You can't just go out and have all these numbers appear magically. You need a watch or a computer that is actively tracking your heart rate, your power, your speed, your cadence, temperature, all that stuff. Okay. And then the color, right? It is, since I didn't nail this one, it's not green, and I can go back into a couple other ones and show you that as well. Peak performances over here, and then we'll talk about that. Peak performances up here. This is the start of a brand new year, so we have a couple of new things here today. Since I did do 2 different rides, I set a peak power for 5 seconds, and then the second time I rode, I had a higher 5 seconds. So that's why we're seeing 2 here. Typically, most often, you're going to only see 1. At the beginning of the year, it does get a little funky, but after that, it does kind of settle down a bit more. If you wanted to dig into it, this is a 5-minute peak power output. You can see there, and it will highlight that 5-minute why it was a max for you. Fitness ramp rates, you can see your ramp rate over the last 7 days, 28 days, 90 days, and whole year. You can see over the whole last 365 days, my ramp rate has actually declined. 90 days, we're holding even over here. Last 28 days, it's same thing. We're kind of getting back into it. There was a lot of decline, and now we're getting back up there. And then the last week there has been an increase in the consistency, and that's why that does go up. If you wanted to view things on a more microscopic level, you could dig into here on the week view, and I will scroll up for you so it will look, you can have a couple of different examples for you. So the colors, like we talked about before, you could see here this was a run, right? And you can see that This one was pretty much nailed in terms of target and power output over the certain amount of time over there. Again, you can dig into all the metrics and the data that you want, right? I'll be doing the exact same thing. If you did want to comment on this, you could type out a post-activity comment. Was really hard, but went very well. And then you can save and close it. I'm not going to do that for you, but you should do that. And something else you should also be doing after every workout, you could see, how did you feel? I felt strong on this one. How hard was this one? It wasn't super hard, it was a tough workout, but it wasn't super, super crazy at all. And then save and close that, and you'll notice now that it does have a smiley face indication with a number next to it, which will indicate the perceived exertion. You can see some of these are red right here. That's because I did not do that workout. So if you don't do the workout, it's going to turn that red color. Okay. And then digging into the data, actually bouncing back, right? If we were pretending, right, that it was Monday the 13th, you can see we have all our workouts laid out over here, and you can see we have workouts in the future over there. For me, just to kind of show you that a little bit more, there's only a couple days left on this week before I have to plan out mine for the next couple of weeks here. You can see that these don't have a color. You can see that these don't have anything in here. In these runs, for example, there might be a couple of videos for you to do, some examples of dynamic movements after you do 10 minutes, or just depending on your comfort level where you can do those. So there will be specific instructions in there for you. Some of these lifts over here, they're going to have a link. You click it, you will have the lift for that day. It will have usually a description. Sometimes it will have a video link if it's not super straightforward over there. And it will have all the good things that you need in there. Moving on to the dashboard. So this is, blow this up for you guys. This is our performance management chart over here. This is what's going to track our fitness levels. This is the blue lines over here. As you can see, that blue line is declining. It has been, that is 1127, and it is now 14. So you could see over the last month or so, it has declined, and it's starting to increase over there. You will also see there are some dotted lines, some dashes that go into the future over there. And this is what we expect to happen in the future based off of those workouts that we already showed you. These ones right in here, the ones that have not happened yet, that is what will happen to your modeled fitness over the future that we've put in there, right? And from that, we can see a couple of different things. For example, this purple line is the amount of fatigue, the amount of, a better word is the amount of stress that we have placed on your body for these workouts, okay? The higher the stress, right? Way up there, the higher your fitness is going to go up. Simple. There's also another line in here, this kind of yellowish orange line, and that is your form. A better word to describe this is your fatigue, right? How much we're placing on you, and then how much that is going to affect your body. So right here in -33, you're going to be really tired. In this example, me, I'm going to be really tired if I complete some of those workouts. So we're going to have to look and see if that is the appropriate training response that I am after there. There's also a couple of other dots. The blue dots is your intensity factor, how intense that was. Picture that as percentage 0 to 100.77. We're looking at a moderately hard workout. That's a little harder than endurance, but not super crazy over there. If we wanted to look at something else over here, intensity factor of 1.07, right? That means I went harder than 100%, pretty hard one, and you're going to get different updates on that. The last one are the red dots, and that is your TSS, and it's going to mold in directly to what we talk about next, which is good. Is your training suffer score. So each workout that you do, you get a TSS that it gets spat out of. So if we click this one over here, right, this is a 42-minute run. And you can see over here we have a TSS of 37 over here. So what it does is it takes the amount of time and the amount of stress that's been placed off the body, in this case, i.e. power, right? And it comes up with a a fatigue indicator, a fatigue number that we can actively go on. And that is the main thing. If you want to change the view over here, you hit this hamburger menu, and you can change custom dates. There's a whole list of everything. If you want to do last 365 days, you can see what has happened to your fitness over the last year or whatever you select if you've been tracking that data. If you have not been tracking the data, it's going to be a little different for you. Okay, you can see here there's a big ramp up for me, and then there's a large period of recovery, and then I'm starting to get back into it. But this is a really good example of what it can look like over the course of the year. It will hopefully look a lot cleaner than this one. ATP over here. This is a modeled annual training plan, ATP, that I have set up for myself over here. You can see there's a bunch of bars and graphs, and some of the things that we talked about earlier are on this one as well. So the bars are the predicted TSS values that have been inputted into this little plan for you based off of your fitness, your past fitness, and what we realistically think you can accomplish this year. Again, if you are just signing on to this and you're watching this video before I've had a chance to enter all of this in there, you're going to have a blank slate. It's not going to show anything. Okay, so don't get too upset if that is the case. It will look like this soon enough, depending on what we are after. Okay, but in here you can see here that, let's look at this week, for example. This has an ATP TSS of about 630 over here. If you look behind it, it's a little hard to see. I wish you could hide it, but you can't. If you look behind the bars, you will see a solid blue and some solid orange. So if I hover my cursor right there, you can see that the modeled ATP fitness is about 72 at this point in the season for me. That fit, what is that? April 17th of this upcoming year. I should be at around 72 fitness, and my fatigue that I've been placed on me, my the amount of fatigue is -17 modeled, right? We'll see if that is actually the case. Right now it is at a actual +3, simply because I have not inputted all the workouts up to that point. It's important to note that these bars will change depending on how you've been training and reacting in the weeks leading up to it. I will go through this and actively change this a couple of times throughout the year. So just because we set it once doesn't mean it has to be that way. You'll also see some dotted lines, some dashed lines, and if we go back over here, it's a better example for you. You'll see that the actual form over here is a -33, so it's a little bit lower, a lot lower in this case, than what the modeled form at +9, right, should be, right? The ATP fitness here, for me currently, predicted was 46, and it's actually a 33. So I need to go in and adjust these TSS points over here through the formula that we have, and we will get a much more accurate representation of how much TSS is going to need to be placed upon you each week. And you can see that if we scroll down to a blank week, you can see this next week is a rest week for me, 150 TSS. So I know throughout my week's workouts, I shouldn't really go too much higher than that 150 in my case over here. And then the next week, I'm going to go back up to that 560, which hopefully I'll be able to handle. But like I said, I will have to redo this for myself because I am not at the point which I need to be right now. And the last thing in your dashboard, right, these are the charts that I've set. If you want to set up more charts, you hit this charts library button. You can drag and drop all the charts that you want to your heart's desire. I break it down into 3 different main areas. The swim performance dashboard over there. I've got my fitness history. Obviously, I have not been swimming. Biking, you can see that over time, and you can create the if you wanted to go back in here and say, I want to go and do the last 365 days, apply, and you can see what my bike fitness has been doing over that time. I have a couple other ones in here, peak fitness power, or peak power for the bike as well. And if I wanted to do the run, I could also do the run last 365 days of the year, and then your peak power for the runs as well. And that's just a very quick breakdown of the TrainingPeaks platform in there. Make sure, one last thing here. Make sure every day when you're in here, you're hitting this plus icon and you are entering your metrics, right? Sleep quality, how was it? I slept pretty poorly last night. My stress level is very high. Weight, let's call it 150. Overall feeling right now is pretty poor. Fatigue is high. Soreness from yesterday, pretty not sore at all. And I only got about 4 hours of sleep. It's just an example over here, and you can see here that that metric pops up over here. Over time, this will definitely help us. Uh, and all these metrics are going to really help us track over time. It's actually help us identify in a couple of different athletes what's been going on and why we've actually moved things and altered the training completely based off of these metrics. So make sure you're doing it. Very last thing here, you can also enter two different things here, a note or your availability. If you want me to know something or you want to make a mental note for yourself, you can enter the note in there. And availability, you can also do that. I'm unavailable on, yeah, let's say January 5th, boom, and it will come up with an unavailable thing. Make sure you do that before as much time as ahead as you can, because in this case, it's the day before, it's the 4th. You don't want to do it now, which is 10 o'clock at night. And you can also just delete it right away, theoretically. There we go. Little right click, delete. And that's a quick breakdown of the TrainingPeaks platform. If you have any other questions, please let me know and I'll be happy to answer them and walk you through some other steps.